All right, you guys, this is episode 14 of Inner Demons. Let me start this out first with my customary opening by extending my appreciation to you guys for continuing to send the positive comments. This series, Inner Demons, has generated or it's opened up a lot of dialogue, and there's been a lot of positivity that's come of it. And like I said, man, it's therapeutical for me too. I appreciate the comments. I appreciate just the fact that some of you have shared some of your experiences with me, man. So let's keep it pushing, man. So episode 13. Well, before I get into episode 14, let me just say this, man. It's late in the day right now, but I'm trying to get this episode out because again, I can't even tell you guys, and I know I sound like a broken record, man, when I talk about, how hectic these last couple weeks is. You guys know how it goes, man. When it rains, it pours. If it's not the water heater, it's the roof. If it's not the roof, there's a pipe leaking. It's not the pipe leaking, something busted. I mean, when shit goes wrong around the fucking house, it goes wrong, and it just keeps on going and going and going. And it's if the stress of having to deal with problematic these type of issues around the house isn't enough, the financial hits, it's terrible, man. So that's how I've been spending my last couple weeks, man. Just been enjoying all the fucking drama, you know what I mean? Anyway, on top of that, look, I usually don't try to get into my personal issues about like medical issues and stuff like that I occasionally have to deal with. But let me just say this, man. I'm share story time real quick. Let me tell you guys this little about this little incident I had. So, in order for me to go to a doctor, you gotta fucking damn near kill me. I gotta be shot, stabbed. I got to be hanging out. You know what I'm saying? There gotta be brain matter on my fucking shirt. Something, you know what I mean? I something bad, catastrophic has got to happen in order for me to go to a doctor. I mean, I damn near gotta be on a fucking gurney and done, close to death, man, almost flatline, for me to go to a doctor. Same way I've always been like that, even in prison. When I've been in county jails or prison, you ain't fucking walking me out in no wheelchair or nothing like that, man. You know what I mean? If I put my medical issues off over and over and over, and most men are like that, man. We're stubborn as fuck. When it comes to doctors, man, we don't want to deal with them. Then it's the same thing. But sometimes, man, we let shit go on for so long that it actually has an adverse effect. It makes our medical conditions even worse. We create bigger problems, and that's me all day, man. That's what I do, and that's what I did this last man. I'm gonna say this last year and a half. So look, for those of you that have had this problem before, you can appreciate what I'm about to tell you guys. For those of you that haven't, I hope you never have to go through it. And it'll shake you out your boots, man, to shake you loose. So look, I had a fucking ingrown toenail for about, I'm gonna say, a good year and a half, man. That's how long this motherfucker's been bugging me. It's actually affected the way that I've walked. But I've made myself get used to it. I've made myself get used to enduring the pain. But it's so bad, man, that I like putting on a pair of shoes. Oh man, it would make me cringe, man. If I bump my foot up against something, or even like just laying in bed, man, pulling the bed sheet up and rubbing on it. At times it would send a shock right down my spine, man. So look, man, your boy got so bad I had to tap out. I was like, fuck this shit. I need to make an appointment and get this shit fucking addressed because it's too much, man. So that's what I did. Went to urgent care, had them look at it. They were like, dude, you need to go to a podiatrist. Your shit is, you know what I mean? Your shit's bad. So they sent me out to a podiatrist. I believe that's what it's called, podiatrist, a foot specialist, somebody that deals with fucking dogs. You know what I mean? Hooves, feet, talons, whatever you want to call them motherfuckers, man. So they sent me to a podiatrist. I go, we check it out. Dude looks at me, he's like, man, you know, yeah, man, you definitely need to get that taken care of. I can see it's infected, it's swollen like a motherfucker, man. It just looks like, dude, you got Fred Flintstone feet. You know what I mean? So I'm like, all right, man. He's like, well, I usually put when it comes to procedures, I usually put them off for a week. I'm like, okay, cool. What I think is dude's just checking my fucking insurance, making sure I got some good insurance and shit. You know what I mean? Because his assistant put all the tools out that he would need in order to perform the procedure, but he wanted to put it off, probably check out my insurance, make sure I got some good shit, insurance that will pay, and then, you know, after that, he does his thing. So, anyway, man, look, I wait a week. I go back. There's two things that I have a phobia about. One of them is flying airplanes, and the other one is going under the knife. I don't like surgery. I don't even like going to the fucking dentist. I do it when I have to do it, but I dread doing it, man. I dread it. So, anyway, when I get there, I'm even trying to get out of it the last minute. You know, when I get there, I'm like, man, you really think I need to do this? Is it really necessary? I mean, it don't hurt as much as it did. He's like, dude, look, it ain't going away by itself. Yeah, you need to get that medically. You need to get it taken care of, man. It's going to be good, man. You know what I mean? Don't trip. I'm going to make this shit so you don't feel it. You ain't going to feel nothing, man, but you got to get it taken care of, man. So go in and, you know, he hits me with I believe it's lidocaine. That's what they hit you with. They give you like 4 shots all on the top of the toes. Like your big toe is going to be, which in my case it was, my left foot. So he hits me on the top a couple times, bam, bam, bam. Then he hits me on the side. That's probably the only thing I felt right there. When he hit me on the side. And it's a nice little fat chunky needle too, man. So after he does his thing, we wait a couple minutes, man, and then he's like, boom, he performs the procedure. I'm like, yeah, dude, it's numb as fuck. I don't feel shit. Do your thing. So this is what he does. This is his profession. He's done it 1,000 times. But he tells me, he's like, as he's doing it, well, right before he starts, he's like, dude, do you want to watch or you want me to lean you back, man? Because you're not going to want to watch it. It ain't pretty. It's going to feel good, but it's not pretty, man. And I'm like, man, just go ahead, do your thing. I'm not going to look, man. You know, I'm going to watch him at my peripheral. I got to. I'm not just going to lay back. That's just, I felt like my motherfucking security was compromised, man. You know what I mean? Nah, man. For real, though. You know, I sat there, kind of turned my head and watched him at my peripheral. So he starts going to town. You know what I mean? I'm hearing shit popping, shit cutting and tugging and shit. And he's like, dude. So he starts to small talk, right? He's like, dude, hey, how long you had this, man? You know what I mean? And I'm like, I'm really in the mood for no small talk, man. You know what I mean? But I'm just trying to get this shit done. But anyway, I'm like, over a year, man, year and a half. He's like, yeah, man, you can tell, man. So why you say that? He's like, man, bro, this shit is bad. He's like, man, I'm gonna be honest with you. This is one of the worst cases that I've seen. Swear to God, man. And I was like, why you say that? And he was like, man, this shit's so deep and it's so much that he was like, I'm gonna show you. So anyway, I let him do his thing until he's done, and he cleans it up, and then he lets me check it out. But before I get into that, he tells me, he's like, man, when you get an ingrown toenail, the motherfucker don't go away. I had it somehow in my mind that I was thinking it can get dissolved. I mean, it dissolves, or maybe the little point that's fucking, the little jagged edge that's hurting you, man, will eventually go away. That's not what happens, man. The motherfucker continues to grow. Your hair and your nails continue to grow. So it grew and grew and grew and grew. Anyway, so this is just a little bit of knowledge for those of you that might get in that same position and think that, I'd rather not go and get the procedure done. It'll go away by itself. Fuck no, man. He tells me in some cases it gets so extreme that the nail actually will grow out of the foot, out of the toe, out of the side, man. That's how bad it gets. He was like, that's practically what yours was about to do. So then he tells me, you want to see it? I'm like, yeah, man. I'm obviously not going to show you guys no fucking picture or no shit like that, because I know don't nobody want to see it. And there's some of you that are probably saying, fuck, is this about your fucking ingrown toenail, or is this about inner demons, motherfucker? Get on with this shit. We don't want to hear about that shit. I'm gonna keep it moving in a minute, man. I promise you. But let me just tell you this. You can't appreciate the size of this thing unless you've seen the picture. And I just can't articulate, like, I was fucking shocked to see what came out, man. It was fucking huge. It was a damn near as long as my whole toe. And when I seen it, it was like, where in the fuck was all that at in my toe? I was like, dude, all this was inside. It was crazy, man. But look, my shit's still healing right now. It's tender as a motherfucker, but it already feels like 90% better. That shit right there will knock an elephant on its ass. You know what I mean? So get that shit taken care of, man. If there's one of you out there that ever has to go through that ever has an ingrown toenail, and get that shit taken care of ASAP. As soon as it starts bugging you, man. And you can even have them burn that shit so that it won't ever grow there again, man. But anyway, that's my little story. I know I'm gonna hear it from some of you in the comments, like, man, fucking beat, man. First 20 minutes, he's talking about his ingrown toenail and shit. Hey, it's my motherfucking life, and that shit affected me this last week. So goddamn, I'm gonna tell you guys about it, man. Anyway, let's get straight to it, man. Episode 13. I believe I wrapped it up talking about Sapo when I hit Sapo from Oakland. Now look, man, like I was telling you guys, the thing about hitting another homeboy, man, especially somebody that you like, man, it's fucked up, but it still amazes me how fast loyalty turns in this game, man. And that was one of the first times that I had to deceive a good homie that I had love for, turn on him, and then hit him, man. And like I was saying too, I was young, I wasn't educated, I didn't have no real seasoning. I barely knew my fucking bonds and my history. I was in no position to challenge Geronimo's authority, but I knew in my heart, man, that there was something that was wrong with that. But again, in those situations, man, it's either you or that individual, and you're put in that situation. Your best bet is to just go ahead and follow through with the directive and deal with the consequences, or deal with, if you feel that it was wrong, you're gonna report it later, man, and you're gonna have it followed up on later. But you never question it at the time. It's either you or him. That's what it comes down to. So, in that situation, it was him, all day, every day, man. And after I hit him, Sapo was the type of dude. He was, he didn't get on the gate to start talking shit, and start self-soldiering and all that. Nah, man. He took it and he knew his career was over, and that was it. But it's one of those situations that still bothers me to this day, man. Looking back on that, knowing that the homie got turned on, for the reasons that he did, man. Anyway, so again, me and Fabian, we talk about the situation that we're both in. He's short to the house. I got 7 years. I still got a good chunk of time left, so they can still hold me, man. If I get found guilty of these 2 A1 offenses, both of them are DA referrals. For one, at the very least, they're gonna give me all that time, and I'm gonna be stuck. They're gonna max me out on that 7 years, which I really didn't give a fuck, to be honest with you. Back then, I didn't care, and I would end up fucking doing it anyway. But at the time me and Fabian talked about it, it seemed like it was the right thing to do, and it seemed like it was just I don't know the words I'm looking for, man. I would have did it for him if I was in that situation. So we went into I think we dealt with the stabbing first, even though the weapon, the reason why we were in there, happened first. The stabbing, we went to that 115 hearing first, and we went in there. Homeboy came in. He came in as a witness that I was calling for my hearing, and he basically copped to it. He said that well, no, this is not the weapon. He copped to the stabbing on Sapo. He basically came in. He goes, "Hey man, look, it was, we were out programming. We were all in the same vicinity. I did my thing, and the tower didn't see what happened. It was me and my celly were in that same vicinity, and when the tower turned around after he seen the commotion, he just seen me in a box, or me and Mendoza in that area, and hit us both with this shit. But this is my issue." And he told me, and this is not about no gang shit. This is a personal issue, and I personally dealt with it, and that's it. Well, that lieutenant right there stamped that shit and was like, "Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and dismiss that 115 on you and refer you back to UCC, Institutional Classification Committee." So anyway, they call me for my next hearing, the possession of the weapon, for when the shit that happened on the 3-yard. And I go through the same process. I go in to hear my 115, and I call Fabian as I call him as a witness. So he comes in, and again, he articulates it to where it sounds believable. A lot of times, man, them fucking lieutenants or them sergeants, whoever's hearing the 115, they know the drill, man. And if you go in there and you're just like, "Hey, man, my homie, he didn't do it. I did it." You know what I mean? I did it. They know that, hey, this guy's just trying to take the beef so this cat can go home, and they're up on that shit. So, and they don't have to do it. They'll put it in there as like, I think this guy's still guilty, and I think his witness is lying. So, they don't necessarily have to take that and believe it. And but Fabian, so anyway, homeboy articulated it well, and it was believable to where it was like, "Look, man, you know what? Straight up, this Mendoza had nothing to do with this, man. You know what I mean? I'm older, because Fabian was a little bit older than me. I'm older. I've been around, the Southsiders had basically hit a Northerner, and I was retaliating, man. And that's what it was. Mendoza was walking with me, but again, he had no idea what my intentions were that day that we got caught up. And straight up, man, the lieutenant fucking he believed him. Straight up, he really believed him, man. And he put my case up for. He recommended me back to ICC. So when I went back to ICC again, they basically said, look, you've been found not guilty on both these 115s. You're eligible to go back to the yard, back to the 3-yard, or you can get transferred out to another level 3 institution of your choosing. And I was like, nah, man, I'd already been out on Lassen. I'd been there for a while. I'd already been in Susanville for a minute. So I was like, nah, just kick me back out, man. I'm cool. I'll go back out there. So they kicked me back out to the 3-yard. But now check this out. So prior to me getting kicked out, this is my first little dose of politics right here. When I got a little fucking dose of some politics. So Geronimo, the same individual that had me and Fabian hit Sapo from Oakland, he tells me, he's like, check this out, bro. There's a homeboy out there on the 3-yard right now, Joker, from, I believe he was from Stockton. I want to say he might be from Lodi, but I think he's from Stockton, man. I can't remember. Anyway, he's a little short, stocky cat with the tail. And I knew him when I was out there on the yard with him before I picked up that weapons, the 115 for the possession of the weapon. I kicked it with the homie. He was a good little solid motherfucker, man. Short, stocky, solid dude. So Geronimo tells me that homeboy got smut on him. That there's nothing, he doesn't want me to do nothing but go out there and hit this dude. He doesn't want me to go out there and report to security on the yard. Geronimo basically gave me a directive. Bro, I want you're going to get released to Lassen. Go out. Don't tell nobody about your intentions. And then hit this dude. Hit him. And come back. You got 3 days to do it. So I'm like, okay. But then, I get back in the cell and I'm thinking, man, and still, I'm still a young, green motherfucking hermano. I'm still learning, man. Not making excuses for myself, but I'm telling you straight up, I was still young and uneducated, and this put me in a dilemma. I knew enough at that time to know that you don't allow yourself to get put in a situation. Well, it's not about me allowing it. Sometimes it happens whether I allow it or not. But basically, you get put in situations like that, and if you're educated and you know your bonds, your format, your schooling, whether you're hermano or a carnal, the Constitution, whatever it is, man. If you know if you know your expectations, if you're well educated and you've been schooled well, you can't go wrong, man. I was lacking in all that at that time, man. So I had been in ADSEG, I want to say, for about 4 months while I was fighting these two rule infractions, rule violations. So I mean, even though there was a lot of negative shit that had happened during the 4 months while I was there in ADSEG, I did take advantage of the opportunity to absorb more klesha. I was being indoctrinated as far as, I mean, everything, man. The 7 phases, the mainline training, Now, so I was taking advantage of a lot of good schooling back there. But you know, like I said, this put me in a dilemma, man. When I got the directives from Geronimo, I acknowledged him. I told him, okay, done deal, man. I'll go out there. I got 3 days or whatnot to get a weapon, fashion a weapon, get my target, and then whack them. So I'll be back in 3 days. So anyway, I get out there. It's my intention to whack them. The only person that I exposed this to was my celly. I tell my celly, which just so happened to be another hermano at that time. I tell him, bro, look, this is the directive I got, and this is you know, this is what he told me, and it's on this dude right here, and you know what I mean. I wasn't asking him like, what do I do? But he was an older hermano, and he was like, hey, B, look, bro, you can't do that, homie. He's like, you know, on one hand, I get it, bro. You got a directive from the oil. And usually when you get a directive like that from the oil, it supersedes everything else. You don't ask no questions. It's coming from the overall authority, which it had already been determined that, you know, overall authority was the last, that's the last stop. But, you know, the homie told me, he's like, bro, but at the same time, you can't just do that, bro. Because what he's asking you to do, he's asking you to basically come out here, and he's sending you on a somewhat of a kamikaze, because you're putting yourself at risk by doing something like that. And two, you're jeopardizing or you're compromising the household's security by doing something like that, bro. You can't just come out here, pick up a weapon, creep up on the homie, and start sticking them, bro. You know, that could create a lot of different scenarios. It could cause you know, other Northerners to come to his aid and to you know, try to intervene and go after me. There could be a lot of different scenarios, straight up, man. So I listened to the homie, but I'm telling him, bro, but I'm gonna get a green light put on me, bro, if I don't fucking follow this directive. I got 3 days, bro. You know, homeboy gave me a directive, and he basically told me what it consisted. I got 3 days to do it. I'm not supposed to tell nobody. Basically, Geronimo, what he was doing was, and I knew this is what he was doing. For whatever reason, he had some type of personal agenda with this dude Joker, for one. But he knew that if I went out there and I told security, that they'd stop it. They'd kill it right there, and that would be it. And for whatever reason, homeboy wanted me to come back to the fucking oil. You know what I mean? I'm not gonna say it's too far of a fetch to say that homeboy, he liked your boy, man. He liked me. Geronimo did. He took me up under his wing, and you know, he wanted me to come back. Anyway, after listening to the hermano, you know, he made some valid points. So basically, what he told me is you can't just come out here and expose yourself like that. You're compromising your own safety, for one, and you're inviting a lot of different scenarios that might have an adverse effect. Two, you can't jeopardize the household security, bro. There's protocol, and there's certain things that we gotta, you know, as hermanos, as norteños, we have to abide by. He's like, bro, you got a fundamental responsibility to report that to the OA out here on the yard. So anyway, after he gives me the advice, you know what I mean, that he was supposed to give me as a fellow hermano, I take it to the OA, and I basically, you know, I tell him, look, bro, this is the directive that I got from such and such, and he told me that he didn't want me to come out here and expose it, that he wanted me to basically just come out, get my hands on a weapon, and hit the homeboy. And you know, the hermano that I'm referring to, that was the OA out on the yard, was a sharp dude. He'd been around, And he was like, you know what? Nah, bro. He's like, homeboy's pushing a personal issue. This is the second time he tried to push it. So there was more to it that I didn't know about. And he's like, look, I'm telling you straight up, as the OA on this yard, as the overall, to stand down. And I'm stopping that green light. I'm rescinding that green light, bro, right now. I'm telling you not to follow through with it, to step back. Let me deal with Geronimo. I'll deal with Geronimo and I'll personally address it to him. I'm like, bro, how are you gonna do that? He gave me a directive to basically not come out here and say nothing to you. You know, that he didn't want me to engage in that kind of conversation with you. So, you know, what kind of standings is this shit gonna put me in, man? That's what I did, man. I slid on back, and I put my trust and my faith in some of those hermanos out there on the yard that told me, hey, bro, you know, Geronimo's somewhat of a loose cannon. He's already proven that he's got his issues that he's gonna have to deal with. But you did the right thing, bro. You know, it's not gonna have an adverse effect on you. I know the homie's gonna report this, and it's gonna, you know, it's gonna get a report's gonna get filed to the Bay, and they're gonna hear about what happened, everything that happened. So, you know, that was my first dose of politics right there. I got put right in the middle of that shit, man. You know what I mean? Geronimo wanted this dude hit, but what I found out wasn't 100% personal, but he did have somewhat of a personal stake in it. And based on the totality of all the information, everything that I found about later, you know, he should have never given me that directive like that. Especially the way he was telling me to do it, by not going out there talking to the other brothers, and by just straight bypassing them and going out there and doing it on the, you know, not cool, man. But anyway, so I go back out to the yard. I'm stressed the fuck out for probably about 3 weeks. You know what I mean? Every time I walk by the Ford building, I wondered if fucking Geronimo was looking out the window, or the other homies were looking out the window, and we're like, man, check fucking that dude out. He's out there fucking walking the track, chilling like it ain't nobody's business, man. You know what I mean? So, you know, I tripped on that part of it. But coincidentally, not too long after that, Geronimo had sent word out to the yard telling me not to trip, bro, that, you know, that I did what I was supposed to do, and it was a test, some bullshit, man, some old crazy ass shit. But anyway, that issue died out. So I'm back out on the yard again, probably for about another 5 months before shit kicks off again. I end up getting some more shit. You know, by this time the gym is fully operational, meaning that they have converted it into a huge dorm. There's like 500 people that are in the dorm. I get my job back working in the recreation shack. Some of you were asking in the comments, what were dimes? What are dimes? What are dimes? I thought I made myself clear, man. So let me say it again. I was a recreation clerk. That was the job that I got while I was working on the 3-yard. Probably the best job on the fucking yard, in my opinion. I didn't give a fuck about no pay number. Nobody cared about working for no 50 cents or whatever those pay numbers were. You know what I mean? But I was a recreation clerk. I used to pass out the gym equipment, meaning the baseball equipment, the basketballs. We had weight piles at that time. Okay, follow me. Check this out. We had weight piles with weights, dumbbells, right? 25s, 50s, 100s. So a dime is a small plate. It's the smallest denomination, or it's the smallest weight that you can put on a bar. It's a little small disc, about that big, 10 pounds. That's what a dime is. Now, I used to have about 100 dimes that I used to keep inside the recreation shack with me, and we had to account for every one of them because they're weapons. So when somebody would come check out, let me get a set of dimes, two of them, two 10-pound plates, they would have to give me their ID. I take their ID and I put it in a little tray slot. Boom, homeboy got 2 dimes. Or homeboy got the weight belt, or he checked out the basketball equipment. So, you know, these dimes, man, they're literally, they're weapons. You can fucking, they're so light, you could swing them and crack somebody upside the fucking dome and hurt them. You know what I mean? So that's why they used to keep them under lock and key, and that's why they used to manage them the way that they did, because for that reason alone is, you know, for people using them as weapons and shit. So that's what a dime is, man. Anyway, okay, so the gym, it's up and running. They got like fucking, I want to say like 500 bunks in there, and most of them are Southsiders, man. Now, the thing I'll say is this, man, and I believe I spoke about this when I first started talking about Susanville, when I got transferred there from San Quentin. Susanville was considered gladiator school. It was the type of prison that usually housed first termers. It was like a Jamestown or a Solano, the 1 and 2 yards over there. Most of these guys that hit Susanville, Jamestown, Solano, Avenal, those kind of prisons, they were first termers. Most of them were first termers. Most of them were camp eligible, meaning that they were going to go to camp. They had low points. They didn't really have a violent history. Obviously, they weren't validated, so they were camp eligible. Most of them were going to end up going to camp. Susanville, again, it was just a bunch of youngsters, a lot of youngsters out there. There wasn't really anybody with status out there. I never ran into a carnal out there. Never ran into an NF or a Mexican Mafia member or an AB member or a BGF member out there. They just didn't have that caliber inmate. Now, as far as the Norteños and the Sureños, just a bunch of youngsters, man. A bunch of fucking kids. So there was nobody out there. There was really nobody out there. But when they opened up this gym, they started bringing in a different caliber of Sureños. A lot of these guys weren't first termers. A lot of these guys were second termers. Some were third termers. You can tell it was a different caliber of Sureños. Older dudes, a lot more sharp. They carry themselves different, and they posed a threat. Bottom line, you know, I can't say it any clearer than that. A lot of them, they just started posing a threat, and it made a lot of the Norteños there uncomfortable, including the hermanos. You know, these guys were openly doing shit that would cause a lot of tension and animosity, throwing open juntas out on the yards. You'd have a cat out there, Smokey from Harbor. He was one of them, big Puerto Rican dude. He'd be out there standing in the middle of a circle. He'll be the only one standing up, and he'll have like 40, 50 youngsters all squatted down. Hey, look at me, I'm a shot caller, right? But still, doing that type of shit right there, it created a lot of animosity out there on the yard, to where the homies were like, hey, bro, I don't know about you, but I'm not staying out here. I'm ready to fucking rock, bro. Let's tear this motherfucker up, man. I mean, why are we gonna sit back and wait when it's obvious they're coming for us, B? You know what I mean? Straight up. So it was from that point on that we basically decided that's what we were gonna do. Nobody really had an interest to stay out there, and the more we talked about it, the more interest was generated in it. fuck it, you know what I'm saying? I'll go to the Bay, I'll go to Corcoran. I ain't tripping, you know what I mean? They can only max me out. That's all they can do. Give me another 4 or 5 years. So from that point on, basically, we started making plans to move on the South Siders. Now, I'm skipping through a whole bunch of shit. A lot of shit had happened, man. I had just doing time out there, learning how to do time on a 3 yard, man. I had a little hustle, you know what I mean? My little hustle was tattooing. I would tattoo like just either script or Old English, things like that. Nothing elaborate with details and a lot of shading, nothing like that, man. If you want some script, some nice writing, some Old English, something like that, I got you. Females, and all that other shit, I can't do it. You know what I mean? So I had me a little hustle, little side hustle where I was, I throw a tattoo down for a case of soup, a couple jars of mayonnaise, and a couple bags of some Kool-Aid. That was it, man. That was all I needed out there. You know what I mean? As long as you got soups, which is like it's like prison money. Soups, you're good. You know what I mean? That's a staple in prison. Got your soups, your honey buns, your Louisiana hot sauce, and all that shit, man. I was huge back then, straight up. I stayed on the weight pile. Them Samoans that I used to drive iron with, them motherfuckers blew me up. Those motherfuckers were consistent when it came time to, the driving. They were like, man, when I told them, when I first invited them to work out with me, I was like, man, I can't get no homies to fuck with me. They'll come in there for like 2-3 days and shit, and then they'll end up fucking falling off, man. I'm sick, or I gotta go to work today, and I'm like, whatever, man, it's all good. But these dudes, they stuck with it, man. They kept me motivated, and I got huge, man. Straight up, I was taking a bunch of different amino acids, Joe Weider, whatever, however you say his name, protein powders and shit, man. You know what I mean? I was doing the damn thing. What else? Let me tell you guys. So I want to make sure that I tell you guys about Heido. It's on probably in episode 15. Fuck, sometimes I don't realize my strength, man. It's shit. Just writing, and this is what happened to this fucking pen. I destroyed it. So anyway, this is probably a good time to start wrapping this up, because when it came to formulating a plan, to put all this in motion, there was a lot of things involved. There was a lot of moving parts. A lot of people were involved in the politics and all that. And I want to make sure that I articulated everything that was involved. So with that being said, man, I'm gonna wrap up this episode of Inner Demons, episode 14. Again, man, I'm gonna keep it pushing. Hopefully, I'm gonna try to at least get 2 Inner Demon episodes out a week, man. I'm gonna at least try to do that for you guys, if not more. You know what I mean? But anyways, with that being said, you guys enjoy your Friday night, man. Stay safe out there. And anyway, I'm gonna wrap this one up. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode of Inner Demons, episode 14, episode 15. Barring anything catastrophic happens, man, I will be back tomorrow to drop episode 15 of Inner Demons. And with that said, I'm out.